Yeah, I think it's fair to say the young people, they're not doing all right at all.
And Trump would say no, by the way. Trump would say no.
If Trump would say no, we wouldn't be having a protest.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, we have a
You're
protest.
talking about ICE going over and throwing people.
Are you what? Fox? He doesn't want. You have a protest. As of course, the youth of this nation are dealing with a lot of very bad, wild problems, as a lot of them are turning to extremist ideology, either on the left or right. All of this as Nick Fuentes, a representative of one of those kind of more extreme right-wing kind of political ideologies, is coming out and now warning about his concern about a potential false flag that will lead to a crackdown on the people on the right. All of this is happening as, of course, this is not his first false flag warning, as now we have the story of Nicholas Reyes, a man that is being accused of sending threats against the more type of neoconservative aligned establishment right, as a lot of people are now saying, look at who he followed, look at what he said, as even the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, went on Fox News to talk about this highly politicized case here, as I think there's an important conversation to have here from an even keel about the extremism in our society and also the civil war amongst the right-wing movement that is divided over a key particular issue, as now, finally, in a long time, political threats are actually taken seriously, as I have my own type of experiences dealing with the threats against my own safety, my own personal life. I've seen my friends actually deal with it throughout their entire careers now, as, of course, now, literally, the FBI is actually contacting us and trying to solve these problems. First time in a long time. Is it a good thing? I think so. We'll get into it and a lot more all here on this independent media broadcast. And if you appreciate these type of nuanced conversations, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. Now, look, I don't mean just to rag and pick on this young man. I don't know if this even is a bit at this particular time here, but the worse the economy gets, the more people will be inclined to believe more and more radical ideology and think of more and more radical solutions to deal with the very kind of difficult situation that we're all dealing with. Now, with AI taking over most jobs, destroying and wrecking major industries, including even legal, judicial lawyers that are being replaced by these type of AI robotic type of systems, we have to understand there's a rise in extremist thoughts, whether it's the rise of Mandani or the individuals who support Luigi Mangione, or in the inverse of that, the people on the right that are going to more kind of extremist content. Now, the people on the right that are going more towards extremist content could very easily be kind of deflected by having an honest conversation, by not censoring people. But of course, we don't have that. We have a two-tier kind of justice system that prioritizes one particular type of ideology, and if you express another one, automatically you get shunned and banned and censored and ridiculed, as has happened previously before, and up until now, where even Nick Fuentes admits, hey, now there's more of this kind of extremist right-wing kind of ideology than ever, and now he's warning that this could be a trap to lull people in to set up a potential false flag to crack down on all of us. Now, we have to understand what Nick is saying here, and we have to try to understand it from his point of view. Now, are false flags something that have happened historically? Yes, a lot, actually, a lot more than a lot of people want you to realize. Now, right after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there was a concerted campaign trying to blame Nick and his ideology for it. A very situation that is ripe, right? All of this as the legislation is being put in place. There's even serious legislation being considered right now by this U.S. government saying that if you express views that are deemed anti-Semitic, whatever that means now, I don't know, it's very vague, it's very generalized. They should kind of really kind of hone in on exactly what that means, other than, because there are legitimate cases of it. Sure, I get it. But there's also people getting hit with that for legitimate criticism of foreign policy of particular government officials. That right there is crossing the line, in my opinion. That line is very blurred here. But with this type of readiness to blame the next violent act on either the left or even the far right, I think Nick is trying to also, some would argue, save his tuchus from what a lot of people see as inevitable, because there are extremists on the right that do commit extremist acts, and those individuals deserve to be called out. Those individuals deserve to be dissuaded. Those individuals deserve to be held accountable for their particular actions. Now, there are some incidences, and again, even though they're kind of overcalculated, overblown, and over emotionally manipulated by the corporate media, there are incidences of far-right extremist violence. Now, comparatively, when you compare that to the left, right, it's not that big. But when we do look at violence on the right, it's usually from those type of people. Usually, right? Extremist people. I hate all people. Ridiculous people that, again, have a lot of hate in their hearts. That, of course, I don't align with, that I find ridiculous, that I find just intellectually not sound. And as a Polish man, I have my own particular viewpoints, especially about history and how everything kind of unfolded here. But anyway, I digress here. But here's what Nick has to say here about his concerns for what he sees as a situation that's ripe for a potential false flag.
And I tell you how the story ends because I lived through it the first time. Here's how the story ends. They're going to take every example of this and they're going to blow it up and put it in front of the media. And you might not think that's a big deal because you might say, well, we're past that. But I'll tell you what happens next. There's going to be a false flag. Someone's...
Yep. And listen, I think he's talking about this particular case. So we'll get into this case and we'll play the rest of his clip as well as the comments from the governor of Florida. Before we do, we just really quickly wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. When you go to wearechange.shop, you scroll a little bit down and you see a happy pair of huevos. And we have our Sip Happens Organic Lemon Green Tea Ginger Tea. And then we have our White Peach Tea available here. I like, this is, the drink that I like. I think you will like it too. It comes in a non-microplastic bag. It comes in no baggies for the tea. It's loose leaf. Why? Because when you have extremely hot water and you pour it into one of those like tea bags, boom, it explodes microplastics into your drink here. Now, this organic green tea really is good. There's a lot of interesting studies talking about people combining exercise with green tea that creates, quote, significantly greater loss of visceral fat. And listen, I'm looking for every hack I could get, especially the older that I could get here. As there's very interesting studies, especially when it comes to caffeine and exercise here. Just be careful. I remember taking a lot of the kind of like pre-workouts before working out. And then when I was first starting to get into it, so I was like, yeah, I'll do this. And then like I couldn't sleep. Be careful with your caffeine intake. Green tea has caffeine. A lot of people like it as an alternative to coffee that gives them anxiety. And, green tea, some people call the most healthiest beverage in the world, as we have Simland saying that improves cardiovascular disease risk, improves heart health, improves metabolic health markers, targets all hallmarkers of aging, reduces visceral fat, is associated with lower mentality. He did a full-on thread about green tea. I like green tea as a Slavic European man. Everyone always is like, okay, you come over to someone's house, you want some tea? Yep, we're going to get some tea. Unlike those fake British people, they're like, yeah, we'll get some tea sometime, mate. And then they never do. And I'm like, why are you lying? Some people are saying green tea appears to, quote, enhance skin anti-aging effects of red light. I like red light. I like green tea. You might like it too. It might do some things for you. I don't know. But if you're going to be drinking any tea, you could literally go to Starbucks, as the young people call them, and you could get some crap, right? And it makes you feel like crap. Or you can support independent media and support yourself and support your own individual health journey by going to wearechange.shop, checking out our lemon ginger green tea, the peach tea. The flavor is amazing. I don't think we're going to restock these, by the way. So wearechange.shop, check out the teas. Great teas available to you. Now, let's get back to what Nick has to say, because I think it's important to play the full context of his assessment and analysis here which some people would say is him just trying to save his butt from the inevitable. Other people are saying, yeah, he's actually calling this out because this is most likely the next step here. And again, people are divided on what they choose to believe.
Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get hurt. I pray to God it doesn't happen. I don't want that to happen, but I think it will. I think some psycho is going to snap. Some psycho is going to be groomed and made to snap.
Now, obviously, the right doesn't have that much of a violent problem as the left does, that worships Luigi Mangione and literally dresses up as Charlie Kirk's assassin and literally says, well, watch your neck, in the most disgusting type of, horrific type of ways, obviously. But no matter how many times right-wingers, even right-wing personalities, come out and say, no violence, stop it. We don't want it. We don't need it. This is not, political violence has been weaponized to the fullest extent. And it is something that everyone loses always when they play it. And when you commit a violent act as a representative of a political ideology, that political ideology gets destroyed. This is why the notion of false flags makes sense here, because it's like, okay, you want to destroy a movement, you false flag something, you do a violent attack representative of that movement, right? Because again, the left does a violent attack, it backfires on them politically. A lot of people in the middle are like, I don't want to be along with these like crazy leftists that are celebrating, cheering for, and literally dressing up as costumes as dead Charlie Kirk. Like, I don't want to be a part of that. That's sick and disgusting. Like that guy was a family man. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Pretty clear that's a lot of people. Not all of them. There's still a bunch of radical leftists that are just like, yeah, blood murder. Now, the right, me, Nick, Tim, Tucker, almost everyone on the right after this happened says, listen, do not retaliate. Violence is not the answer. And that does work to a certain extent. But what Nick's talking about here is someone losing their minds. And we can't control people who lose their minds, that are potentially on hormones or SSRIs, or just have a mental break and snap, because that also does happen. Right. And there are violent individuals on the right that need to be dissuaded and told, dude, no. What the hell what are you even thinking? Like, that, this violence is never the answer. All right. And that message is more important than ever, and it does work. Will it work all the times? No. And I think that's what Nick is saying.
Maybe it'll just be a straight up false flag, but something will happen. It will implicate an anti-Semite. And that anti-Semite, you're going to go on his timeline and you're going to see he's following he's going to be following Candace, Tucker, me, Dan Bilzerian, Jake Shields. And his account is going to be filled with cheerleading for us and hatred for them. And it's going to be just as it was before. They're going to convene the Sanhedrin. They're going to convene the council.
Now, it matters, the reaction to this, because there was already leftists that were anti-Semites and that did commit violent acts, screamed free Palestine, and then attacked and took the life of young Jewish people. Those incidences did happen. There's no denying that those incidences happen. But they were on the left, and pretty much they were kind of excused here. If this happens on the right, it's probably going to be a way bigger deal, right? And it's probably going to be frontline headline news nonstop. I would predict.
Of telecom companies, tech companies, social companies, and they're going to say, we got a real problem on our hands. We have to shut this down. It's gotten out of control. It's gone too far.
Now, is that going to happen? Well, I think there's also another counter argument to this, that a lot of people are so desensitized, so don't, like, the news cycle moves so quick. So many new things and crazy things are happening every single day that a lot of people are like, whatever. There's also that possibility as well.
And suddenly this liberal climate that has been cultivated, where we're able to speak freely, we can talk about these issues openly, it's going to start, well, it won't start. It will immediately snap shut. Violently and rapidly, it will snap shut in an instant. And this environment of tolerance for those types of opinions, for that sort of dissent.
Now, do they need to do that? Do they need to do grandiose false flags that people will automatically question? Any world event that happens right now, we're also living in this kind of peculiar environment where no one believes anything anymore. It's like Charlie Kirk got shot by a leftist. Did he? And again, people are like, what? And then again, the left kind of celebrating it really just codified the fact that there's a big, major kind of violent leftist program. But my train of thinking is kind of going along here that a lot of these events are, of course, automatically politicized.
Is going to evaporate. And
Now, do they need to do that? There's other ways of stifling and destroying dissent or conversations in these countries, like buying TikTok and changing the algorithms, like sitting down with Elon Musk, as Bibi Netanyahu literally talked about controlling the narratives and saying, we got to talk to Elon. The algorithm did change very significantly for me within the last few days on Twitter, and it's a lot of propaganda. It's no longer what it kind of used to be, and it's a lot of just heavy, thick emotional manipulation. What's a better, more effective way of stifling dissent and conversation? A grandiose false flag that a lot of people won't believe, that gets messy, that you might get caught doing, or you buy TikTok. You have a conversation with Elon. You take over the college campuses and the universities, and you say you better not say anything or allow any of these type of voices, or else we're going to find you and destroy you. And now you're going to have to pay all the students millions of dollars. And now we have the incident of Nicholas Reyes, as it looks like he, according to the charges placed against him, is alleged of threatening Josh Hammer, Seth Dillon, and Laura Loomer. Now, anyone threatening any political figure because of their political expressions should be automatically disavowed. You don't do that. Like, we should have political discourse. You could have political opinions. That doesn't mean you should threaten to take someone's life or existence, or they should feel threatened from being able to express themselves. Now, it's pretty clear here that there's a serious situation, as of course, this is what Nick was kind of describing. Now, Nick also learned about a false flag. People like talking about false flags to get a lot of people's attention. But I think this other notion of what I described here, especially when it comes to narrative control, I think is a lot more of kind of effective way. And I think people realize that. Now, Laura Loomer, who was also threatened here, says that this guy is in custody in Montgomery jail. The Florida Attorney General is extraditing him to face felony charges of extortion, written threats to kill, and use lawful use of two-way communication devices. Laura Loomer says she became one of Nicholas's Ray's targets because he was, quote, radicalized by false accusations that I'm a, quote, foreign agent, and then he proceeded to make serious and credible threats against my life and the lives of Josh Hammer, Seth Dillon, and over his hatred of Jewish people. She thanks the Attorney General of Florida and for law enforcement for their investigation and actually taking this seriously. She says, it's sad that this young man decided to throw his life away over conspiracy theories on the internet. He used an anonymous X account to make threats. Just a reminder, there's no such thing as being anonymous on the internet. Yeah, we need to put an end on political violence. I absolutely agree with that last statement here. And of course, Seth Dillon is writing about this. And whether you agree or disagree with some of these people, they never deserve to be threatened, ever. And again, engage in the political debate. But once you start hurling, I'm going to hurt you, like saying really awful, horrible stuff, like we're going to get you, like that's not helping the conversation. That's not helping anyone. Now, I think this is the tweet in question. Some people are saying there's multiple tweets here. It definitely seems like a very kind of vague threat here. As Ron DeSantis talked about this on the news, as people are saying arrested for a tweet in America. Well, it wasn't just a tweet. It was an insinuation of a threat against violence, which shouldn't have happened and is now being taken seriously by this government and many other governments. As, of course, Benny Johnson was threatened. Tim Pool was recently threatened. Whether I'm threatened or not, I don't like to talk about it, to be quite honest with you, because I don't like giving a lot of these kind of crazies, wackos, a lot of the attention. But Benny Johnson revealed that there was a threat made against his life. And the Attorney General of the United States actually stood behind him and said, yeah, we're going to get him. And they did get him.
1 month ago today, I witnessed my friend of 10 years.
And then Benny, of course, talked about Charlie Kirk here. And then Ron DeSantis was on Fox and friends here are saying
The
this.
comments may be disturbing to some viewers, but you need to hear this and see it. Law enforcement says the suspect said online, quote, "You're going to get killed soon, buddy. It's coming."
Yeah, so a lot of people online are saying, oh, no, it's just that one tweet that was very vague and generalized. Well, no, it looks like it's more than that.
Traitors get hung. Another one said that Americans will take turns beating your lifeless body with a piñata. Stick you lifeless traitor. Florida
Conversations like that don't help.
Governor Ron DeSantis not going to tolerate that, and he isn't. This guy's name is Nicholas Ray. What could you tell us about this incident and what you did to follow up on it?
Well, Brian, we take political violence very seriously. I mean, people obviously have a right to express opinions, but the minute that goes into inciting violence against people generally, but certainly in our state, we're going to take action. So state law enforcement did the investigation. We're able to obtain an arrest warrant, and our Office of Statewide Prosecutor is going to bring this guy to justice. We got to have zero tolerance on this. We saw what happened with Charlie Kirk.
Yep. What do you think? Is there going to be a false flag, as Nick says, or is this just going to be a slow kind of boiling of the frog control of the narrative that some people say is going to be a lot more effective? Or is this all not true at all? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for checking out wearechange.shop, checking out our teas. Can't recommend you trying them out enough. I want to be here for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.